Ready? I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Board of Directors regular meeting, and if you'd stand and join the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Celebrating success, which is always a fun time.
It works. Good evening. Oh, holy smoke. Wow, it really works. Good evening. My name is Paul Gomez. I'm the supervisor at the Metfield Golf Complex, which includes Dogwood and Brittany golf courses. And I want you to meet Debbie Larea. Debbie, turn around and say hi to the folks. Debbie's a new employee of ours. She's been on board now right about 6 weeks, give or take. And she has already performed to outstanding levels in the golf department. Just a few examples. In less than 2 weeks, she was closing the golf shop without supervision. And if you have seen our golf shops, you know how challenging that can be. She has... We had a group of golfers in town, and she offered to do all that was necessary. That when they were moving from one golf course to another, they were out-of-towner golfers, and offered to prepare them boxed lunches so that they could eat on POA property as opposed to non-POA property. In less than a month, she was helping me, and most of you golfers know my right-hand guy, Gary. She was helping us train new employees. Exactly. She has outstanding customer service experience and training. She comes to us directly from IKEA. Before that, she was in golf business as well. But the one thing that really stood out that prompted me to nominate her for this was right about on her 30th day. You guys might remember the day that the power kept going on and off and on and off and on and off. On the east side particularly, and we have an ice machine that's connected to a pump, and we didn't realize that when the power went off, it tripped the pump, and so there was water accumulating that was spilling. She was about to leave after a busy day taking care of some happy hour customers. And about 6 o'clock, she calls me. She says, "There's water everywhere. What do I do?" So by herself, I live in Rogers, so she took the ice machine, the coolers, she moved everything out all by herself, found a mop, cleaned it up, dried it up, and then I showed her how to disconnect the pump so that it would stop leaking. It's just an example of the heights that she goes to get things done. Since we've been closed at Dogwood and Brittany, she has volunteered to fill in shifts all over the golf division, including picking balls at Tanyard Creek Practice Center. That's fun, she says. I have had the pleasure of supervising lots of employees. Some of you know that I have had some training with the Zig Ziglar organization back about 20 years ago. Debbie is as outstanding employee as I've ever had the privilege to have worked with us and for us, and this is the kind of employee that we want to recognize, encourage, and keep. So it's with that I want to present to you this award.
It is my pleasure at this time to announce the new members of the Board of Directors for next year. Two of them are here, Jerry Barron Jr. and Steve McKee are with us in the front row, and Tia Bidwell is in Mexico. So she's found some entertainment there. The results are behind me. Okay. And we appreciate others that ran for us also.
In case you were not able to make it to the annual meeting, these are the results, and also these have been sent out to our membership. So,
okay.
The next slide.
Okay. Go ahead with that. Okay. We met tonight as a group, and next year's chair will be myself. David Brandenburg will be the vice chair next year. And we have liaison committees that we have picked. And so you can see community involvement, golf, lakes, and recreation are the 4 advisory committees. And then strategic is the overall committee, and those are the liaisons to the various committees. And they will be posted on the website, I'm guessing probably tomorrow or sometime tomorrow. Would that be fairly?
One more.
One more, we have 2 more.
We will post them on Friday because the current members' terms do not expire until Friday.
That's correct, so we'll wait a week. Audit and rules and regs are board committees, and those are the members of those committees. And they will be posted also. And we thank everybody for stepping up and taking positions. Approval of the Board of Directors regular board meeting for April 25th. If I could have a motion on that, please.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections, or? If not, call for a vote. Oh, I neglected to announce Mary Sinkus had Pat Lowry's proxy. And Mike Ebb, we do not have a proxy for him tonight. Okay, so those in favor of the vote for the regular board meeting? Thank you. The work session held last week. I need a motion on that, please.
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? If not, I'll call for a vote. Thank you. Executive sessions. Tom, get those?
Yeah, I'll cover those. I apologize, on your agenda, there is one error. The executive session took place on May 3rd, not on May 4th. So there are, normally we provide a summary only, but because of the gravity of the situation with regards to the Trafalgar Road fire, we included the entire motion. These were the following motions that were approved by the Board of Directors. The first being able to enter into an agreement with ADEQ for the POA to take over the fighting of the fire. The board granting myself, the POA president, the authority to enter into an agreement with ERM, E3, and CTH with regards to putting out the fire. The next one is granting us the authority to enter into a loan not to exceed $2 million. The next one is an acknowledgement of the use of funds for the effort to put out the fire. The next one is the authorization to release the press release that was subsequently put out on that date. Additionally, there was an executive session meeting yesterday, and I do apologize, we missed the word ARCMO in this information. I apologize for that. But I'm pleased to announce that we've gone under contract to sell ARCMO property to Recasting LLC for $1,475,000. That was the full appraised value on that land. And second of all, there was a discussion by the board on a personnel matter.
Okay, moving on to Lakes Advisory Committee. I'm not sure we have anybody from Lakes here tonight, did we?
One of the issues that was covered in the Lakes Committee was an effort or a consideration to simplify the fee schedule and how we could consolidate it. Right now, there are 5 different categories for the different types of boat registrations, and the idea would be, is it possible to simplify that matter? So that is still being discussed. Also, they're talking about lake closures for the coming year, so that was discussed and voted upon.
Okay. Recreation, Gary?
Good afternoon. We had our meeting on May 13th. We had a good attendance in there. The first thing that I wanted to bring up was an introduction of guests. Jennifer Hansen, who works with all the pools and Lake Avalon, brought her 3 head lifeguards over. I think what's important about this is that they're looking to do a couple of things this summer, specifically at the pools and the beach, to really look at number 1 being safety, number 2 customer service. And the way they're going to do that is to do a challenge within the pools and lakes themselves. You can look that up in the packets that you have, or you can look it up on the website. Emphasis really is on safe swimming, safety for parents and lifeguards, and an emphasis in helping families who cannot afford to give their kids swim lessons. So with that, other amenity reports, there was a couple of things at Branchwood that were minor that we know about. Lake Ann's got a lot of activity working on it, and Reardon has been extremely busy. The revenue's up. Courts 1 and 2 are going to be resurfaced, and they've had a lot of luncheons and weddings as well at Reardon.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to special committees, we've had a special subcommittee for archery, and we had another update. This has been ongoing now for, I'd say, 9 months. And right now we know that the Arkma land's up for sale, so we have to look at some other alternatives that Rick has worked at, Eckroth has worked on, as well as with John and Tom. So we can revert back to the McNelly site, take a look at what the pros and cons are of that, as well as one called the State Line site, which is closer to Missouri, and a piece of property near the trap and skeet range area. All the specifics are inside of this, so I don't need to bore you with those. And let's see, as far as the pools, the beach, they're supposed to open this Saturday. And I think everybody's pretty happy about that. And with that, I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Any questions for?
Any questions?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Golf. Susan, do you have that one? Okay.
The golf committee met on May 8th. It seems like ancient history, but then we were talking about the recent rain event we had, which only gave us some minor damage on the courses, and everything got pretty much cleaned up within a few days. Of course, we had more rain over the weekend, and Tuesday night there were a number of trees down. The maintenance staff came in on Sunday to do a lot of cleanup, and I know I played on Wednesday, and it was wet, and there were little pieces of branch everywhere, but the golfing was good. I mean, it was fine, and all the courses were open. So, well, except for Dogwood. So, kudos to the maintenance teams at all the courses for that. Also at the meeting, the committee voted to continue our practice of not overseeding the fairways. So in the long distant past, we used to plant winter grass so the courses would be green all year. And we stopped that about 5 years ago. First, for saving money, and secondly, because it doesn't damage the Bermuda grass that we need in the summertime quite as much. This is a pretty consistent topic that comes up every May. The next thing is we held a community meeting on the 14th. This was at the request of Tom to invite the community to voice their input about the potential closing of the Brittany Golf Course. About between 250 and 300 people attended. It was a very well-attended event. The trigger for this discussion is that both rounds and revenue at Brittany are experiencing about a 30% decrease from 2 years ago. And if you want to take a look at the graph that's on page 27 of your packet, you can clearly see where Brittany falls in comparison to the other courses. The overwhelming majority of the people want to keep it open, and I would say we got a number of pretty good ideas about some low-cost marketing we could do, or some things to help remind people that Brittany is even there. We're having golf committee's having a meeting on the 29th at 4 o'clock, where the golf committee will discuss the feedback and draft some recommendations for the board, and we'll be presenting those to the regular golf committee meeting which has been moved to June 5th at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom. That's my report.
Okay, any questions for Susan? Thank you, Susan. Community involvement, Dylan was not going to be here tonight. Do you want to take it, or?
Yeah. So Dylan apologized that he was not able to make it tonight. At their last meeting, they discussed the upcoming Tailgate and Fireflies event. They also emphasized that they are looking for additional members. They have a number of members that are coming off of their committee. So they have 3 coming off, and they're requesting the board approve 1 to be added back. So they're definitely going to be shorthanded. We've sent out a request on our newsletter for additional members to join the committee. But if you are interested and would like to get involved, please contact us, and we'd love to potentially have you on the committee.
Okay. Anything else from there? If not, let's move into the financial report from Dwayne.
All righty. One, two, here we go. This one.
There you go.
These are the income statements year-to-date through April 2019 in thousands of dollars, starting with the POA. Looking at the gross profit variance, it's a negative 271 against budget. Golf is 164,000 of that negative. We've seen this pretty much all year, annuals and weather-related. Lot valuations, we talked about this last month, 141,000 down. Cost of inventory sold in the flash sale. Do I need to get a different mic? And past due collections are down 70,000 from budget. Legal is 48,000 of that number. Cell tower rents, 44,000. We've seen this for 2 months. And is it on? Yeah. Food and beverage, that's better. Food and beverage, 31,000 plus due to BV Bar and Grill. Moving over to the prior year variances, cell tower for the cell tower that we sold, but it wasn't the cell tower, it was just the agreement between 2 outside entities. The POA does not own the equipment, but we still got $1,069,000. Food and beverage is better by 89. BV Bar and Grill opened late March 2018. Rebates, 53,000 plus. The 2019 Carroll Electric rebate, we didn't receive any in 2018. Golf here is 87,000 down, again, the annuals and weather related. And past due collections are negative 102, legal's down 71, balance in accounting. And the last on this one is lot valuations down 127, again, the cost of the inventory sold in our flash sale. Looking at expenses, operating expenses are better than budget by 479,000 this 4-month running. Maintenance and repairs are 154,000 of that number. Ground maintenance primarily. Labor is better by 143,000, positive across divisions. Equipment and tools, 72 plus, small equipment purchases. Supplies, 67 positive. GM contingency, 30,000. Other miscellaneous is across the POA. And then professional services is negative 106,000, and that's all due to legal and consulting services on the stump dump. Variance to prior year, equipment and tools are positive on this side, 100,000. Supplies, 70,000. GM contingency, 30,000. Other miscellaneous positive, and negative again, professional services stump dump, 115. Gives us an EBITDA of 208,000 positive to budget. Moving over to the water utility, that's the way I like to go, fast. Water utility gross profit, it's down it's down 56,000. Water usage and growth is down 62,000. Scrap metal disposal is positive 17,000, disposing of our old water meters. 30,000 prior variance, scrap metal disposal 17, water usage 13. Looking at our operating expenses, they're better than budget by 60,000. Labor is 30,000, maintenance and repairs 11,000, and supplies are 10,000. And prior year is just overall at budget, it's just a negative 9,000. So looking at our EBITDA on the water, it's 4,000 positive. That's my report. Any questions?
I have one question regarding the water. Since we put in the new systems and we can find water leakage much earlier, do we have a report, or will we have a report in 6 months or so that states how much less water we're losing than in the past?
We can definitely get such a report from the team.
I think it'd be interesting to know as to how the new water meters are affecting that, because you certainly know right away, they let you know right away if you've got a leak, so.
Well, I do know that we've had a number of instances where we have been able to get a hold of the resident much quicker than in previous years.
I'm one of them.
You're one of them.
One of them.
Left the hose on?
I didn't think I did, but I did.
And then Dwayne, one question on my part. I'm curious for a ballpark number relating to our current cash position this year through April. I'm sure we're pretty good. Like Tom always says, it gets pretty good, and then
Right.
in November, December, it falls off. But
Right.
any rough estimate? Because we're not doing as much capital this year.
Yeah, it's positive, and you can see on the balance sheet, I believe it's about $4 billion is where we are right now, just between the POA and water together.
4 million.
$4 million is sitting in the bank right now.
It's possible, right now, we're cash rich because we're during the summertime. So we do not anticipate, with the expenditures that are going to be hitting us fairly soon related to Trafalgar Road fire, we will use our money first, and then if need be, we'll use the loans. What's positive about, what's a good thing that's heading our way is with the sale of ARCMO, that's a 45 days to close that. So we will get those funds in also. So we will be able to limit the amount of the line of credit that we will use. We will absolutely need to use that line of credit towards the latter portion of the year in the November timeframe, which was when we're cash poor. But the longer we can hold off, the less interest we pay.
Other questions? If not, last month's open forum questions were answered at the time. And before we go into today, we're going to make the announcement that we are going to limit it right at 3 minutes, because it's been felt that some had more time than others, so we'll simply cut everybody off at 3 minutes. I have the sheet, and I do not have any sign-ups, so if you asked to speak or want to speak and did not sign up, we'll take open forum at this time. No open forum at this time, so we're closed open forum. Let's move into septic failures. It's an interesting topic to move into.
So we had a septic failure at 7 Henrietta Lane. The board was notified of this. We try and expedite these as quickly as possible to assist the property owner. In this case, so what we allow is, if the primary source, if primary field fails, you can go on to common property with our permission if that is your only recourse. In this case, the property owner was able to acquire a piece of land that was fairly close, and as opposed to the field being on there, they just need some piping that will go across common property. In order to expedite it and help the property owner out, we took an email vote, which was which every board member voted yes, but we do need to confirm that with a vote tonight.
Do we need a motion to, I do need a motion to approve that movement on the septic tank, or that vote that we had.
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Any discussion? And that was expedited so that the family could get the situation taken care of in timely manner and move on. Any discussion? If not, let's call for a vote. Since you've already voted once, I'm assuming you're voting the same way. Bruce, thank you. Okay,
Next up, we are requesting a water increase of 10 cents. The public water system service fee has been increased by the Arkansas Department of Health. They've increased their fee from 40 cents per month per meter They increased it from 30 cents to 40 cents, and we are requesting that the board allow the water department to pass that increase through to our property owners. It is required that we note, assuming the board approves this, we are required to notify our customers for 2 consecutive bills before the fee can be implemented.
And I'm under the impression that the first one was passed through the same way. So this
Absolutely.
would just be the additional 10 cents passed through.
That's correct. That's
So nothing
correct.
has changed, it just is
Yes.
an additional.
It is unfortunate, we had an increase earlier this year that was for 81 cents. That was a pass-through fee also. Prior to that, we have not had an increase since 2007.
Okay. We have a motion to pass through the water, new water rate.
I so move.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? It's about the same as a tax, is that correct?
It's exactly the same. We're just passing it through.
Okay. No discussion, call for a vote. All those in favor of moving the water increase? Okay. Thank you.
The next on the agenda is for the 2019 capital budget. The board approved these capital projects for the year, and there is an expectation that those will be completed. As a result of the Trafalgar Road fire, we have recommended to the board that we cut back the capital budget by $626,400. We need the board to approve these cutbacks because they were approved and there was expectation that those projects will be completed. We then need a vote to decline these or cancel these. I will point out that on 2 of these projects, it is a reduction, not a complete elimination. On the one, the grounds maintenance, general grounds maintenance, it went from $30,000 down to $15,000. And the water line replacement went from $300,000 and was reduced by $200,000, so it was a net $100,000. So we are requesting that the board approve that reduction of $262,000.
Can I have a motion to approve the cuts?
I make a motion to approve the cuts to the capital budget.
A second?
Second.
Discussion. Departments were notified and worked with this to do so, so they're very much
Yes.
aware of what's coming off.
Yeah, we tried, it is their recommendation, we started with their recommendation. Recognize that putting off this much in capital projects means that these projects probably end up getting transferred to the following year. But for this year, because of the need, we really focused on safety items and items that were broken and just absolutely had to be done.
Okay, so those that had to, okay. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote on cutting the capital projects. All those in favor? Thank you.
The next on your agenda, on page 66 of your agenda, of your packet, you will see that the Recreation Committee has nominated Chris Stockman and Gary Griffin for a second term. We would ask that the board approve these individually, if they are in so inclined to do so.
Okay, Gary and Chris have both been on the rec committee, I think for 3 years. Is Gary still here? He may have moved on. They've both been on it and been very active and very good members. Gary has served as chair the last 2 years I know of, and asked that both, Bill Putkus asked that he not be renewed, and we thanked him at the time. Do I have a recommendation or a nomination to approve?
Yeah, I move that
Chris
we
Stockman.
reappoint Chris Stockman to the rec committee.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote on Chris Stockton. All those retaining Chris? Thank you. Now I need one on Gary Griffith for a second term.
I'll move that Gary Griffin is nominated for a second term on the Recreation Committee.
A second, please. Second. Any discussion on Gary Griffith? All those in favor of retaining Gary Griffith? Okay. and we thank them both because they've done a good job, and we'll move forward with them.
The Community Involvement Committee has nominated Glenda Adams. Glenda would be a new member to that committee.
And there wasn't anybody going off,
There were 4 people coming off of,
but they came off and chose not to run again.
that is
Okay.
correct.
So this is a new one that has not been on in the past. So I need a nomination to accept Glenda Adams on the Community Involvement Committee.
I'd make a motion to approve Glenda Adams for the Community Involvement
A
Committee.
second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on Glenda Adams? We appreciate her willingness to serve, and all those choosing to accept Glenda Adams. Thank you very much, we appreciate that. And we wish her well on the committee, and I know they're going out for new members.
Yes. The last item on the agenda for me to cover is to give everybody a brief update regarding the Trafalgar Road fire and the other stump dump sites. I'll start with the other stump dump sites. Not much to say. We are still waiting for the green light from ADEQ. We submitted plans. They asked for revisions. We sent them a second version of the plans, updated version of the plans, so we are still waiting for them to give us the green light before we can start working on the other 4 sites. With regards to the Trafalgar Road fire, I encourage everybody to go on to the POA's website and look at the updates that are provided. We are making daily updates. We shot some drone footage today that I anticipate will get posted either late today or tomorrow. It gives a real good view of the site, and if you compare today's footage with the footage that was taken on the 17th, gives you a real good comparison to see how things are progressing. Things are progressing rapidly, so I'm pleased with the progress that they have made.
Any questions on that? Okay, before we go to announcements, the June calendar, you will see a couple of the committees, advisory committees have changed their time because the second week in June, we have an APT tournament here, and many of our committee members will be involved and on the course at that time, so some of the committees had to change. So be sure you check the calendar itself. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Bruce Pertello, Mike Ebb, and Pat Lowry for the service they've done the last 3 years, or 1 year in case of Mike. They've done an excellent job for us. They've stepped up, and we really appreciate all the work you've done. And Bruce, I'm going to give you a chance to say something if you'd like. If not,
I was saving my swan song.
were you?
Yeah.
For the end, well, we'll let you save it, but we appreciate all the work you've done. The calendar of events, Marina Grand Opening is the 5th of June from 3 to 6 out at the Marina. If you haven't been out there, it's a good place to check at Lake Point and plan to eat afterwards, of course. The GM meeting will be Thursday, June 6th at 2:30. That's a change of date, and it is a closed meeting. The regular work session will be June 20th. It's at regular 9 o'clock. That's a regular date here in the boardroom. And the Board of Directors meeting will be the 27th at 6 o'clock, and that's the regular time as well. Anything else for the good of the cause? If not, Bruce.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you.
Thank you. We stand adjourned. Thank